Hi, and thanks for taking the time to view this quick video on the E-mini S&P stock index futures market based on our perspective of the market from eminidaytrader.com. What you're looking at here on this chart are the market profiles that have occurred this week. These 5 profiles here are from this week. Each market profile includes a lettered market profile and a volume profile. This is the letter profile from Tuesday, the volume from Tuesday. This is the market on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, lettered and volume profile. So what we can do for each one of these days is to get a pretty good handle on the directional bias in the market, if there is one, and to also know and be able to determine on a day-to-day basis where that bias lies. In other words, what direction is the swing auction headed in? And we like to take a look at this from a longer time frame perspective, because as day traders it's obviously a really good thing to know, or at least have a good sense as to what the longer time frame directional bias is, so that when we're going ahead and placing our trades on the daytime frame, we can place those trades in conjunction as a preference with that direction, and know that if we are placing a trade against that swing directional bias, we've got to be a little bit more nimble with the trade. In other words, really demand that it reaches our first or second objective rather quickly. In other words, we're just not going to hang around and stay with that trade too terribly long. Whereas when we're trading with the underlying directional bias in the market, we've really got more time on our side, and we can afford to be a little bit more lenient in our trade management of those trades. And so last week at this time, when we prepared the video, we were looking at this down auction that had shifted from Tuesday to Wednesday last week, from the 6th through the 7th overnight. The intraday directional swing bias had changed from up to down, and we were anticipating that that would continue at least early this week, and obviously have to wait to see what sort of developments occurred during this week as to whether or not we would continue with that bias. And what ended up by happening this week is we had a turn on this day right here, which was Thursday, and it occurred during the day and was confirmed really by the time the day closed, and in my opinion got further confirmation of that today. As you can see in here, though, that these are only the profiles from the day session, or the regular trading hours from 9:30 until 4:15 Eastern Time. And as you can see, there's still a little bit of a gap left on the chart here. So this will obviously be a resistance area still going into early next week. But if the market should trade above it, it could very well have another move higher, and in which case the next major resistance would be quite a bit higher in the market, up and around this area in here, where we have the next gap up around 920. I'm not predicting that it's going to get to 920. It could, of course, but from our standpoint right now, we were looking at a market that is more likely to go up than down. If it fails in this immediate gap area around 856, 858, then of course it could have another down probe. But when we take a look at a little bit of a longer time frame perspective of the market, and what I've done here is I've produced a series of weekly market profiles with their corresponding volume profiles. So this profile and its volume, that's from this entire week. And we had a group session with all of our members on Wednesday, and we took a look at this, and we had come to the conclusion that quite possibly the profiles that were formed early in December, most notably this week right in here, could very well have some support near the low of that weekly value area. And that range that we were looking at was 824 to 816. And as you can see, the market this week, it did reach that. As a matter of fact, it got a little bit below it right in here, and then of course had a nice turnaround on Thursday and Friday coming up into here. And so off of that low, which was down around 812 or so, the market has rallied almost 40 points or so. So we did have an idea that the market could very well bottom in this area down here because of these weekly market profiles that we were looking at from as far away as the beginning of December, some 6 weeks ago. And so when we're taking a look at this volume profile, the market profile from this current week, we can see here that we've got some pretty good rejection off of the low, but then again we've got obviously good rejection off of the high. And this is that gap area that you can see on the profile that I was just mentioning on the daily chart, which is the likely resistance area that the market has overhead at this stage of the game. And so should the market rally above that and hold above it, then it would probably switch from resistance to support and could send the market higher. And I think that's one thing that we are looking at as a very real possibility heading into next week, because of the fact that the market here has turned, we believe, yesterday on a swing auction basis, and has proven that, or at least confirmed it here again today. So this is really what we're looking at right now, as far as trying to get as good a hold as we can on really what the market is doing. These are I've got a series here. This is Monday's action using our software, and you can see that we have various symbols on here, various paint bar colors. You can see the cyan and the blue. They're all marked on here. Some other ones down in here, and these other things that we call balance areas. Now there's not a lot of detail on here, so what I've done is I've just posted in here in case you want to take a look at them. That was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But to get a little bit better detail, what I did is I did a close-up of the first day, first one-third of the day's market action, taking a more in-depth look at our software here for Thursday, because Thursday, of course, was what I consider to be a fairly important day, in the sense that the down auction switched from down to up. And you can see the various colors we have on these paint bars and so forth, one to start the day, some other ones in here and so forth. So even though we were still in a down auction, we did have the opportunity to get long right here to participate in some up move. As the market came down in here, we got short again in this area. And as the market rallied, we were able to use these symbols here to also get short. So we had some good trades that were pretty clearly defined for us, and really didn't move much against us, in order so that we could have some successful trades. As the market moved lower, 2 out of 3 of the early trades were shorts, but we knew getting into the first one that we were going against the grain, so we knew that if the market did not reach our first and second objective very quickly, we'd be moving out of that trade. In the middle part of the day, as the market started to turn higher, we had one last chance to try and get short as the market rallied up. And as you can see right here, that what ended up by happening, was that the market did rally up higher, and in this area right in here, it actually paused for a bit, gave us an opportunity to get short, but we also knew it was at a critical juncture because of some of the action from down below. And we had some of our other signals in here suggesting, you can see there at the bottom, suggesting the market was likely to rally. We did have a short trade here, did not hold on to it very long, ended up more or less with a break even on that. May have been stopped out depending on how tightly any of our traders were actually placing their stop at that time, as the market was just at that time starting to get a little bit more volatile. On the last third of the day, that was very interesting. The market just continued to rally up, and we had some great opportunities here. As the market pulled back right in here, we had a great entry right there, able to participate in a nice move higher. Even when the market came down, we were able to get short in here. We had one more short in here. Yeah, it was okay, but then the market finished off up. So all 3 of those trades to finish off the day ended on the upside. We really wanted to try and get with the long trade here, and it did move up. We were able to be profitable on that, although it didn't have the continuation that we thought it might on the rest of the day, as a result, that's why we ended up with a short trade right in here and then another short trade in here. But this is just an idea that you can take with you as far as an outlook for next week, and some of the more specific symbols, paint bars, and balance areas that we use in the E-mini day traded trading system. As you can see, I haven't pinpointed the exact trades here, obviously, but we are using these paint bars and balance areas to pinpoint each trade right to the tick, which really allows us to get very exact execution. We know exactly when a trade is set up and triggered, and of course also in the trade management we will use our paint bars and balance areas as well. So thanks for taking the time to view this video. If you've got any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Just go ahead and check us out at eminidaytrader.com. Thanks, and have a great weekend.